everybody. This is Brian here with a food for thought, our weekly little kind of webisodes, whatever. And I'm here with Coaching in Life, coachingandlife.com. They're sponsoring us, and we are so lucky because once again we have Barrett Ladefogen with us from all the way over in Denmark. Good morning, Barrett. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you, Brian?
Oh, I'm great.
I see Ed is cleaning his teeth.
Is Ed cleaning his teeth? Hopefully, Ed. Well, we'll get that breaking news. Ed is cleaning his teeth. That's good. Well, you want to know because he hasn't done that in months. So
that's
correct. And also with us is Ed Griviteriano, Ed, who is currently cleaning his teeth. And we're glad you're with us, Ed. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better, Brian.
That's good. That is good. So today's episode, I had something else in mind, but I don't know if you all recall, but last time we did our episode 2 weeks ago before the Thanksgiving break, I had mentioned that Ed was looking a little peaked, and there was a reason for that. And we found out that Ed had been diagnosed with COVID-19. And so I thought today might be an ample opportunity to kind of share his experience with having COVID-19 and what he went through and what his loved ones have gone through, because not only did Ed get diagnosed with it, but his girlfriend was diagnosed with it, as well as his father. And so, Ed, I think I'm just going to let you take it away and kind of share your experience from the beginning on. And then if Barrett and I have any questions, we can ask you when you're finished. What do you say?
All right.
All right. Have at it.
Okay. So basically about 2 weeks ago, probably the day before we last spoke on this medium, I started having symptoms and feeling achy, run down, tired. Pretty much Wednesday evening, I was pretty sure I was sick. It felt very flu-like. I didn't care too much about doing anything. Thursday, it got worse. Friday, worse than that. For me, those first 3-4 days, I didn't want to do anything. I was run down. It seemed like a very strong flu. Wanted to sleep. But I didn't feel horrible. I had a little cough, the congestion, sore throat, and a lot of the same symptoms that you would get with the flu. It just was a little bit stronger and lasted a little bit longer. So my dad and my girlfriend both got symptoms as of this past Monday, approximately. My dad felt the chills and achy. He went to urgent care and he was diagnosed right away with it. It was very difficult to get a test when I decided to get a test, and my girlfriend to get a test, because here in Southern California, San Bernardino County, they have the free testing facilities. And I've already been tested 3 times before this. It was really quick. There was nobody there, but apparently it's this last month, they have been booked solid. They have approximately about 40 openings every half an hour, and it was full for a number of days.
Yeah, where our numbers are just they're skyrocketing nationwide, but in California in particular, and I've got my thoughts as to why, but we could share that in a little bit. But yeah, so you had a real tough time.
So
well, it wasn't real tough, but it took a while to get your test, right?
Right. So by the time I got my test, it was Monday. My dad, going to the urgent care, he was able to get it within an hour. Mine took a couple days, so I found out 2 days later. They said it would be about up to 5 days, but I found out 2 days later that I was positive, and my girlfriend showed up as neither positive nor negative. So she went to urgent care a day or two afterwards because it got worse. And they gave her some steroids. My dad got steroids. My dad has breathing issues already. He's been a smoker. He's diabetic. He has a lot of, he's older. He has a lot of things going on. He was in the military, Vietnam. He has some issues from Agent Orange, which is a chemical that was released there that affects the brain and nervous system. Luckily, it's kind of mild, or has been mild, but it has affected him. So he has a number of issues going on. With all his issues, he seems pretty strong for his age. But he told me, yesterday that it was horrible being in that tent and being away, from his wife and from everybody and feeling as shitty. And he thought that the hospital could have had heaters out there in winter. Now it is Southern California, so it is warmer than other places. But I can just imagine, he said those people outside the tent. He was inside the tent, so there were people outside the tents for hours. So his experience, he said it was horrible. My dad's gone in the hospital several times for different things. He's been in a couple accidents, and I didn't think this was worse because he had a accident that was incredibly severe that they thought that he might lose his life, and they took him down 40 miles to the nearest center to do that. It was that bad, and he's saying that this was worse.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I'm not sure it's a mental thing, where what's going on, or in the other situation you're so out of it that you don't even know what's going on relatively.
That could very, very well be. Before we talk, because I want to know a little bit more about your dad's symptoms, because he did end up in the hospital, and he's still there. Is that correct?
Yes. Right now, they're giving him a specialized antiviral medication, and he's going to receive plasma with antibodies once they can get it, because his blood type isn't the standard O plus O negative. It's more rare, so they have to find that particular plasma.
I was reading recently that people with the blood type O positive are more prone to getting COVID. And so
I don't know what does that mean?
We all have different blood types, A, B. I'm a B positive, and my wife is A negative. And I always tell her, yeah, you're a negative. And me, I'm B positive, right? So it seems to work. But what it means is that blood type there, type O positive, can catch it easily. That the other people with that type of blood, it affects them more severely. Now, that's just what I've read recently, and I didn't do an in-depth study, but I imagine that if they're putting that out there, then probably a lot of people with the really severe, symptoms and results probably are O positive. I think there's another blood type that it doesn't affect as severely. So, and I don't know all of the science behind it. It'd be cool to know all of that. All I know is I'm probably glad I'm not O positive. So, Ed, let's back up.
I am O positive.
You're O positive? Well, you better keep yourself safe, Barrett.
I'm O positive as well.
Stay away from minks. In Denmark right now, they're slaughtering the minks, or they're planning on slaughtering the minks, because the minks have been carrying the coronavirus. And minks, correct me if I'm wrong, Barrett, are a large income for Denmark. Is that correct?
That is very, very correct.
Yeah. So we're looking at, a situation in Denmark that, because of the minks needing to be killed, that can affect the economy greatly.
A lot. We don't know yet the consequences.
Right. And so Denmark is known for their minks and their hash. So far, I think the hash is fine.
Come on.
Well,
How
but
do you know that, Brian?
Barrett told me.
Okay.
Barrett's always using hash when she comes on. That's why she's so calm and mellow.
Hey, did you hear that? I'm not sure if Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. had a boxing match this weekend,
Yeah,
and he had said that he
he had smoked marijuana.
before this fight and other fights in the past.
Well, I think that's probably what made him so amenable to a draw. Yeah, everybody was saying that Mike Tyson pretty much won the fight, but they called it as a draw. He's like, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson ever been good with that? He's bitten people's ears off, right?
You know what? I have to say, just in case if he's listening or somebody sends it back, I've met Mike Tyson because I lived in Vegas for so long. I've met him a couple times. He was extremely nice. He seems very shy, but he seems very nice. One time he was a little bit incoherent, so I think that he might have had a little bit more than.
he was about to have a fight. That's right.
No, he seemed like he was having a good time, and I don't, extremely good time. But all the other times he was really nice. He was really nice to my girlfriend. I think he's a very nice and kind heart. And I think, but when you hit that switch with the whatever he's taken or whatever the people, so I just want to say that. And I know
that's good.
He's a really nice guy.
That's good. You're just saying that in case he sees this and he doesn't hit you. Me too. And I think he's a very handsome man and very kind to children. I don't want to get punched by him either. Not with those arms, right? Well, we digress, but that's what we do here at Cal. We have a good time and enjoy our conversations. So just keep on this wacky, windy road with us. And Ed, so you said it felt like a really strong flu. It kind of knocked you out. And I know that you reached out. I kind of helped you out there. I'm going to be helping you out. And you're still under quarantine. And so you haven't been able to go in to work. Well, actually, let's back up even more. Where do you believe that you contracted this?
I honestly don't know. It could be work, because the problem there is, even though they have protocols for employees, that isn't a perfect situation, because a lot of people take it lightly, but it is actually customers who have been, there's a lot of them that are lax with the 6-foot rule, with the wearing the mask properly, take the mask off, using the excuse that they have a medical condition. And I'm thinking, if you have a medical condition, you probably should stay home. You can order your stuff online. So
now sorry for interrupting you, but for those of you that don't know, Ed works with the retail industries and is often out on the floor with customers and with other associates, or I guess employees, doing his job out there. And so you're interacting with the public almost daily. And so what you're saying is that a lot of these people that are coming into the store are argumentative, they're fighting the system, and yeah.
A lot of people are, quote, tired of it, and they are not observant of the rules that are in place in the store and other stores, and I've noticed that. So a lot of them feel that they should interact or react or shop in the way they've done for years, as though this is super inconveniencing. I mean, though we have signs everywhere, things have how we do. You have to stop at the door, and people don't want to stop at the door. Literally, there's a little, not a maze, but and it turns in, which you would not normally. and then there's a line, but people want to just go through it as though it doesn't exist, and they get offended by people stopping them at the door, which is what our policy is at this particular venue. And I don't understand the because things like me getting it and my father getting it occur because the people that don't know that they have it or don't care that they have it or don't check, the people that are probably doing that are people that are probably not abiding by that. And had everybody stayed home for 30 days, this epidemic wouldn't be here. But it's that inconsistent or ignorant, and I've had people say it's not real, it's political, that it's false, and you can literally drive around here, and there are lines at I know urgent care, the main hospital. There's another urgent care down the road that's more for Spanish, the population that speaks Spanish as their first language. There's a line wrapped around the building right now, and these are all because people are sick. There's several people that I know that are sick at the store that I'm currently at, and it's just really bad. But it's that ignorant part. And again, I don't know if I got it there. That's more than likely. I have gone grocery shopping. I try to be quick, wear my mask, put the sanitizer on. But it could have been anywhere. I mean,
right. And so, and it kind of blows my mind. We have had 271,000 deaths in the U.S. alone. And so for the people that say it doesn't exist, why are all these people dying? And it's just foolhardy to say, well, the government's lying to us. I mean, of course they're lying to us, but not about this. We have scientists, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have our first line, out there, our first responders, sorry about that, who are out there daily. My wife works as a first responder, helping deal with the crisis on the more administrative side and research side, and it's mind-boggling. And for the people that say it's inconvenient, yeah, it is inconvenient. So the fuck what? I've been taking injections for 41 years. They're inconvenient. I've been taking blood tests for 41 years. It's inconvenient. I used to have seizures. Inconvenient. There's a lot of things that we do that are inconvenient. My dad is on a respirator, right, or not a respirator, on oxygen right now because he's in hospice. And you know what? It's inconvenient. So the bigger problem, other than deaths that I see, are the long-lasting effects that can happen, because it's not just, and Ed, you seem like, you're coming out of this nice and strong, but you're probably going to be worn out for a long while. So you've got the lethargy, you've got the, fatigue, but cognitive issues, later on respiratory issues, cardiac issues. These are all things that people, these are the things that I'm concerned for your dad about. And how fond I am of your dad. He cracks me up, And so, by the way, if you hear a noise, it's Wingnut snoring over here. She's not letting COVID get in her way, that's for sure. So, but, yeah, it's inconvenient. And there are a lot of things in life that are inconvenient. And restricting our actions is being patriotic. Caring about our neighbors, caring about the strangers, caring about other Americans is patriotic. So, yeah, sorry, I get a little short about that because I'm seeing people being exposed, people being harmed. You watch these videos of these assholes coughing on other people, and to what end? These are also the same people that, proclaim to be good patriots and good Christians. Yeah, I'm sure, because that's what Jesus would do, isn't it? Right? Cough on thy neighbor. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, but you get my point. People don't treat others the way they want to be treated. They're just arrogant, selfish people that can't see the forest for the trees. Okay, I'm off my soapbox here. I get a little angry because I've lost loved ones and I've lost friends to COVID-19, and it just boggles my mind. I think we were talking a couple of weeks ago that misinformation is on Facebook, on social media, is spread 6 times faster than the truth, which means people are perpetuating the ignorance, and they're goddamn proud of it. So Ed, tell me more about your experience. Sorry about that, Ed.
No problem. I feel the same way. I've been having issues, anger issues especially when it comes to my dad, and all the people I've dealt with that are have told me this face to face that, oh, they're still making it work. I've had this like for months. Like people are telling me like oh, they're still doing this like facade or this ignorant this mask thing. Like it's a game. It's not a game. It's not fake, and it makes me angry. It's disrupting that. My dad, who's a vet and fought for the country, has to sit out in a tent and suffer because we don't have the resources. When the resources could have tried to be implied by a certain leader that we had, and that certain leader got therapy. He flew a helicopter directly. He's the one who said it would be gone magically, and then he got it, and all of a sudden he got the best health care that money can buy, and of course it looks like it's you can get over it easily if you have that type of care, that type of money, and that's not even promised to everybody, but that is very frustrating. So I understand, because I feel the same way. I was very frustrated by that. There's no reason my dad should be in the hospital right now because people can't simply wear a mask or stay at home.
So, Ed, what were some of your symptoms? You said achy, chills.
Yeah, I was having chills. I was having really bad aches and pains, and you would have like the chills. So I had to take a lot. I took a lot of ibuprofen and Tylenol and aspirin throughout the day on intervals. I've had flus before, and I've had aches before, and I've played sports before, so now it feels. This was the worst achiness I've had, with the exception when I had pneumonia. So it was. I don't have pneumonia, but it is on the same.
It's on par with that.
Yeah, as far as how bad it felt, it was very, very strong, worn out. The last 2 days, for instance, today's like day 14 for when I started the symptoms. I didn't know it till about this is day 10 from when I found out I had it. But last 2 days I've been exhausted. I have times where I'm up and then times where I'm down, and I've been sleeping a lot these last 2 days. I'm tired. I go lay down to rest my eyes, and it's 2 hours later. So it's obviously still there, and it's still affecting me.
Right, and that's the ironic part is you start feeling a little better, and you want to. Well, I should be working. I should be cleaning. I should be doing something. But it's super important to just let your body rest and heal itself. And I know you and I have had conversations about that.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm like, good. Don't.
I don't like not doing something. I really get antsy. I'm sure there's people like that where my brother's kind of like that, or both my brothers. I think my dad's kind of like that, where if you're not doing anything for a while, you get antsy, and I'm the same way. So, like yesterday, I got up at went back to sleep, woke up at 1:30, and I was irritated. I was irritated at myself, but I have to let my body heal, and that's what my body needs. I have to accept it, and then do what I can when I can right now until it fully heals, And there's that other part that's bothering me with my dad. Go ahead, Barrett.
When you say that you're tired, is it different tired or same tired? Is there a difference between this disease or a flu, or does it feel the same way?
It felt like a strong flu for me. For my dad, it was severe. For him, he's had other medical issues. The way my dad described it, it's like the worst diarrhea. Like, because I've had gastro problems. That's the only thing that's really different for me. A lot of gastro problems, like, oh man, I have to go use the restroom. And pains there, and that's part of it. Also, what's been different is my sense of smell is slightly different. I think I smell smoke, and my girlfriend says she can't smell anything.
How about your taste?
She likes pickles, for instance. She says the pickles don't taste good anymore. And so she doesn't taste or smell a lot, but it's like a strong flu. So the strongest flu you ever had. But with my dad, literally, he couldn't breathe, and he couldn't walk 10 steps when he went to the hospital, and they found he couldn't walk from the bed to the restroom. That's how bad he needed. So when he got to a room, he said, it's in the same room. It's like 20 steps. He couldn't walk there. So he went from relatively healthy for his age to, in a day or two, not being able to walk at all. So where he couldn't breathe and walk. So that's the other end, the other side of the spectrum. Mine seems like a heavy flu. My dad's like life-threatening. I can't get oxygen. I can't breathe. I can't move. I literally need two people to take me there if I need to go there. Like, I can't walk.
The breathing problems seem to be, and one of my past students who's in her early 30s now, and a dear friend of mine, the whole family, she got COVID. And so she had to be separated from her young daughter. I think she's 3 or 4.
Hey, Mars, can you come over here and answer this, please?
What's that?
Oh, no.
And when she had COVID, she said the breathing problems felt like she could breathe in just fine, but exhaling was really hard, which I thought was really interesting. And so I don't know, I don't know if you've talked to your dad about that, Ed, about the actual physical sensation, but that's the part that kind of freaks me out, is the shallow breathing, the inability to get what I need in. And I think that's probably a scary thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, that is one of my fears. It's like drowning and not being able to breathe. And I can't imagine trying to catch a breath, because I've played sports before where I've lost my breath, or I've hit the ground and you lose your breath and it feels like you're not going to catch it. And I can't imagine that's basically how he's feeling the whole time, like trying to catch a breath. But this time, there's a psychological thing where you know that this disease can actually stop that. So it seems slow, and slow when I mean it's not instantaneous, but it's fast enough to cause something. But you have the mind like, oh, I'm going through this. I'm having to deal with this. I can't breathe. So I don't want to say.
And knowing
it's like a mind fuck, I think.
Yeah, and the mortality rate, that weighs on your mind. Am I going to be, one of the statistics and everything? Ed, I want to thank you for sharing this. We hear about people all the time, and luckily, thank goodness, you have not had as severe a case, as could be. And we'll keep your dad in mind. Barrett, did you have any other questions about Ed or his dad's experience?
And there's just some things that that really is concerning. I think that how it is and it feels with Corona and the virus, how it affects us, and now is the time that we should come together and share. And I mean, you don't see any of this neither on LinkedIn, on Facebook, nor on Instagram. It's like it's not there. That's, I find, very, very strange that people are not sharing what is real life, that it is, excuse me, so fake, that that is so far away from the real world. And now we can really see how far away from the real world that we humans have become towards each other, that people are not helping their next neighbor. They're liking stuff on Facebook from people they don't even know. And they don't know if any of this is real because they're not sharing real life. It's fake. And we should be speaking about how we can help each other in crisis like this, because as I hear it, I mean, if you're sick, your girlfriend is sick, and your dad is sick, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's not like something that it comes and but it hits, and you don't know how it hits.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And it's I keep myself in a bubble as much as possible because I'm taking care of my mom and my dad and my 90-year-old grandmother, who is about as strong as a horse, but I want to keep her that way. But I'm with those friends who have had it or have it. I do what I can. If I have to make a run to the supermarket, or if I can pick something up for them, I drop it off. And and again, it's funny because I'm going to be doing a run for Ed, and his girlfriend was texting me last night, and she said, if it's not too inconvenient. I'm like, well, of course it's inconvenient. I mean, but so what? It's, of course it's inconvenient, but we do it anyway. That's what it's about. I want Ed and Marcy to be around a long time. I want Ed's dad to be around a long time, and so if I can go and grab some groceries, grab some cough syrup and whatnot, and drop it at his door and then run like hell, then I'm going to do that.
I appreciate that, Brian.
What's that?
I appreciate that. I just want to go on record as appreciating that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm not saying that,
I'll let everybody know that's what coaching in life. We drop things.
That's right.
In front of your door
and run like hell.
Maybe not parts, but maybe not parts, but those kind of things where you need to talk to somebody. Like Brian's been there for me. Barrett's been there for me. So, I'm glad to have you guys in my life. But that's what coaching in life does. So I'm going back to coaching in life.
Well,
we're there at your door.
It's a virtual.
Get online.
We're dropping virtual items off. Virtual health for you off at your door. Well, Ed, I value you. You're important to me, and you're my buddy. I got to make sure you're okay. And so, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being there, and I am so glad you're doing better. Barrett, you better keep safe. Yes. You better keep out of the way. No kissing minks. No playing with minks.
Hey, I have a quick question as far as the minks.
Sure.
Barrett, how did they test that? Because, I have my pet dog, and there was worries that you shouldn't be around your pets if you have it. Obviously, I can't just let my dog go or wherever. If she has it, she has. How would we know if we? How did they find out that the minks had it and that they were transmittable?
how did they find out? I think that they found out because the people that are working with minks got corona, and because, you know, minks looks very much like humans. But I think that the
Well,
mink
they're
situation,
smaller. They're smaller than humans, though, right?
Mhm.
a
And
lot
the
smaller.
area, yeah.
But I think that the mink situation is, it's a lot of convenience. It's a lot of convenience for a lot of the political parties that wanted to get rid of the minks. That's one. This was just an opportunity, and I think that, you know, what she did, our prime minister, is against our law. And I mean, it's a horrible case. And I mean, I never thought that we should have a prime minister that doesn't follow the law. And she should leave her position were she normal. But I mean, that's what we see in the world, that borders for good behavior and code of conduct, it doesn't go for large companies, it doesn't go for presidents, it doesn't go for prime ministers. I think that the coronavirus is actually a very good teacher, because if we're doing things the right way, it is not there. It is hygiene, and it's hygiene when it is best. And it's pure simple things that needs to be in place, but it's 1,000 small things that must be in place for it to work. It's a chain.
Right.
So the coronavirus is a chain of reaction. And I think that when you speak about the minks, I just think that this was just a convenience, and she got what she wanted.
And you know, that's the shitty thing about it, is that we've reached a point in our cultures that those that have can use this pandemic, which are killing all the little people. You know, those that have those in power can play that game, because, as you pointed out, Ed, these leaders, they have access to the top-notch medical attention, the new cutting-edge medications. They have treatment and care 24/7. You know, our hospitals are filling up out here in our county, and we're seeing nurses all over the country, you know, express their exhaustion and their fatigue. And there are places that don't have it. There are hospitals that aren't impacted. These are in, you know, smaller places. The problem is everybody looks at those hospitals and says, well, they don't have a problem. They're not impacted. This nurse isn't tired. They're using a very small sampling, and then, you know, generalizing that, when I know, because of, you know, information I get, and just driving by, you know, the testing sites and the emergency rooms, that it's packed. It's packed. And the nurses that I know that have been doing this at first were saying, oh, this is nothing, because we had not been impacted as strongly where we're at. You know, we're a little more rural than some other places where I'm at, spread out. And so, yeah, it was like, well, I don't buy this. I don't buy this. Then all of a sudden the nurses were like, holy shit, this is crazy. And we started getting more and more impacted. So, you know, I just encourage everybody, just say no, KNOW, you know, learn, and don't just let the evidence lead you to a conclusion. Don't draw your conclusion and then look for evidence to back it up. I've got relatives like that. And I think we all know people like that. It's like, well, I don't want to believe in the coronavirus. So, oh, look, this hospital in, you know, in Podunk, you know, what, I don't know, what's a really oddball out there? Montana, right? They're not impacted. 5G. 5G. So, all right. Well, Barrett, it was good to see you again. I'm glad, you know, you're still feeling good. Ed, you don't do anything. I'll be running those groceries to you a little bit later after my medical appointment this afternoon.
I appreciate it, Brian.
Absolutely. And you know, all of you that are watching this, I value and appreciate you, and thank you. This was a longer one than we normally do, and We kind of got sidetracked, but I appreciate you hanging in there with us. And if you want a place to vent, if you want a place to grow, to learn more, to become the best you can be, head over to coachingandlife.com. We've got programs for everybody, and we're there to help you out. All right. So everybody, until we meet again, inhale relaxation, exhale tension, and be well.